Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Think Tank Sports. Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen. Check us out on the socials, if you would please. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We got a poll out there Mike's going to talk about here shortly. And listen to us on Spotify for podcasters or wherever you get your podcasts. We are out there. Of note, folks, that if you haven't seen this, Stitcher is going away. So if you're listening to us on Stitcher, it won't be there after.
If you're the one
listening on Stitcher, it will not be there after the end of July. So pick us up on one of the others. I know they're moving a lot of stuff to Pandora. We're on Pandora. So if you want to do that, that's fine. But just of note for those of you listening on Stitcher, that one person. And watch us on YouTube, as here we are again in our Yankees garb in our respective living rooms, doing the podcast, which we're excited to talk about. Looks like the Yankees based on the attire. Yes. New York Yankees, Major League Baseball, the All-Star games coming up, the Home Run Derby's coming up. We're kind of like almost to the official, or say the unofficial halfway point of the season. And so lots of good stuff to talk about. And of course, here to talk about this with me is my good friend, Mike. Mike, how the heck are you?
I'm doing good, Dave. If that timer, some of you might have heard in the background, gave me PTSD of our Think Fast segments that we haven't done in a while. But no, I'm doing well. I want to give a shout out. I never do this. To the boys at the St. Mary's ER in Amsterdam, New York. Checked out our podcast last night. And Dave, there's two male nurses. Nothing wrong with that fucker. And nope. One's a Bills fan and one's a Giants fan. So very interesting. I happened to be there yesterday. I'm all better. Everything's fine. But so thanks for listening in, boys. We appreciate it. And the Twitter poll, Dave, as you mentioned, we're getting some early interaction. Our question is, which team had the most disappointing first half of the season so far in Major League Baseball? Options are Cardinals, Padres, White Sox, or the Mets. And right now, early in the voting, the Mets with 60% of the vote, the Padres and Cards at 20%, and the White Sox not to get a vote yet. So I don't know if that means people didn't have high hopes for the White Sox, or they just haven't been as disappointing as the other three. Yes. Do you have an opinion, Dave? Or
I do. And of course, just a few short minutes ago, our good friend of the program, Mark Dodds, typical, responded, none of the above.
That's right.
So thank you, Mark, for your contribution. Yep, I think it's the Mets. I don't think there's any question, coming off a 100-win season, adding Justin Verlander, lots of big expectations that this team was going to, take off and do well. And they are, as of today, 18 games back of the Atlanta Braves and stuck in fourth place. In the NL East. So now the San Diego Padres are right about the same record, 41-46 versus the Mets 40-46. But they're only 9 games out. I don't think they're any better. I don't think they have any better of a chance. I just think overall disappointments, because the Mets won 100 games last year. Clearly the biggest disappointment in Major League Baseball.
Not to pile on, but let's pile on the Mets.
Let's do that.
Another tweet of ours, July 1st, of course, was Bobby Bonilla Day for the New York Mets. If you're not aware, Bobby Bonilla's last contract pays him $1 million a year in perpetuity
till 2035.
Not that you're all on top of this.
Oh no, so. I'm totally on top of it, because what I said to my oldest son Brady is said, when you turn 30, the Mets will stop paying Bobby Bonilla. This just folks. My son is 18, 12 more years. If you couldn't do the math, 12 more years instead of paying him. I think it was like 5 million or 9 million for that one season
for the buyout,
for the buyout, and they deferred it until 2035.
Yep. So
You
Anthony,
know that the Mets management is, and their financial people are just cringing when July 1st hits and that money is going out of their bank account and into Bobby Bonilla, who I actually think he's actually getting, we've talked about this a few times. I think he's still getting paid by the Orioles as well.
is he really? I have to look that up. So Anthony Otero, is that how you say his last name?
Yes. Yep.
Maybe you can start a GoFundMe or something to help Stevie Cohen to pay out. But I mean, why doesn't Cohen, with all his money, step in and say, "Listen, this is a source of embarrassment. Here's X amount of dollars to never, even get on social media again, Bobby."
Right. But just do something, anything.
Somebody do something. So Dave, let's go back to the night of Wednesday, June 28th, in the late night of the Oakland Athletics game against the Yankees, where one Domingo Germán threw the fourth perfect game in Yankees history. And of course, you can name the other three, right?
Sure. Don Larson, David Wells, and David Cohn, back-to-back years, 98, 99.
And Domingo Germán.
And exactly Domingo off the Germán. But, a lot of people, Mike, for many years would argue Don Larson was not a, candidate who you would have thought, even to this day,
he wasn't a household name.
He wasn't a household name. He wasn't ever a dominating pitcher. True. He just happened to have this. And I had pulled this out of my hat, out of my butt, whatever you want to say here. I remembered that prior to David Cohn's no-hitter, perfect game in 1999, that Don Larson threw out the ceremonial first pitch to Yogi Berra. Right. Going back through, it was actually Yogi Berra Day. That was a huge day because Berra and George Steinbrenner had a falling out. So everybody gathered around a circle at home plate, held their hands, sang Kumbaya. Don Larson throws out the opening pitch, the ceremonial first pitch to Yogi Berra, and David Cohn says, "All right, I'll throw a perfect game today."
Sure. So I got to tell you, Dave, you can talk about the game itself if you want, but I had a really hard time celebrating this because of Germán's off the field issues. The domestic violence being number one, and we'll get into more of that, unfortunately. And then, this cheating with the sticky stuff, it just, I just really had a hard time embracing it. It was fun to see the boys jumping around and dogpiling and all that, but I really was mixed about it. And it wasn't exactly like he was pitching well either. On June 16th, he pitched 2 innings and gave up 7 earned runs. And on the 22nd, 3 in the third and 8 earned runs. And then his next start, he comes out and throws the perfect game. So, I don't know. As far as perfect games go, bittersweet for me. What did you have? Similar emotions?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it's tough because this is one of those, if you want to, and you have, so let's delve into it. The domestic violence piece. This appears for a lot of people to be one of those times in sports, which happens an awful lot, where all of the misgivings of someone who has done whatever wrongs in their lives are somehow temporarily forgiven, and the performance on the field is celebrated. And I think that's what happened here with Domingo Germán. Maybe different if it's a no-hitter, but it's just the 24th perfect game in the history of Major League Baseball. I mean, there've been over, I think it's 317 or 318 no-hitters. That's one thing, but perfect games. And I'm not advocating either way for that. I'm just saying, I think this is one of those times where the sports fan turns a blind eye and says, "Oh my gosh, what a tremendous performance by Domingo Germán." So,
especially because of the rarity, like you said, of the field,
yes,
in the scope of the sport. So.
Yeah. So and anyway, if and like you said, with his, previous performances, makes it all the more surprising. 9 strikeouts, obviously no walks, just 99 pitches to get through 9 innings,
Yeah.
Mike.
Thing of beauty that way.
Efficient, to say the least.
So the Yankees take 2 out of 3 against the lowly A's, and then go to St. Louis, get rained out on that Friday. So
yep.
we get the Saturday doubleheader, and Dave, didn't go well.
No.
We split it. We split the doubleheader.
We split the doubleheader,
right,
yes.
right.
But
we lost the series.
Our boy Severino, coughed up a crap ton of runs in the first game.
Blew up.
And he's just really struggled. I mean, he's going to pitch. He's pitching tonight against the Orioles. But going, he's 1-3 with an ERA over 6. And he's had his moments of success, but more often than not, he's been getting lit up hardcore.
So to have it happen game 1 of a doubleheader usually would be killer to your pitching staff, but because Herman's perfect game on Wednesday and then post the rain out Friday, the bullpen was pretty well rested, and so they kind of piecemeal it together, and then they
and Boone came out and said it's going to be a bullpen game.
And they did well in the
game
in the bullpen game. Better,
sure.
When Yankees say bullpen game, I'm dubious because I don't feel like they have the true opener. Like the Rays have that Fairbanks, whatever his name is. They have a couple of guys that can come out and get you 3 innings. And Michael King's really the only one I would say was able to do that, but they seem hesitant to start him in these bullpen games. So Ian Hamilton, who I'm not a huge fan of, starts the game, and Marinaccio, King, Peralta, Canely, and Holmes. So the A team in the second game, in the bullpen game, and the Yankees win 6-2, and with a doubleheader. Another day of just terrible base running day for the Yankees in both games. And it's a theme we've been hitting all year, and it's continuing to be a big problem. Gleyber Torres in particular just seems to have one brain fart a week, So I don't know. What do you have on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting with the base running in particular. You talk about Gleyber. When we get to the Baltimore series, though, he has a huge play, to break open a tight game. And Boone says, look, he's his instincts are really good, but sometimes it's instincts over thought at times, which is a tough balance for anybody, honestly. If you think about anything you're doing instinctually versus thinking about it, that's a challenge. But yeah, it seems to be that those moments happen at a time where you're just really like, why are you doing that? And yeah, there's been too much of that, particularly with the Yankees team that, as I looked today at numbers, runs scored isn't terrible. They're like 14th in the league, but the batting average, Mike, is the 4th worst in the league. And so when you're not, and this is a year where they've changed a lot of rules. The batting averages should be going up, and the Yankees batting average isn't going up. And so when you're not
down, power numbers are down, Judge is hurt. We'll get into all the other stuff.
So when you have all of that stuff factored in, the last thing you want to do is give up base runners.
Right. And it always seems to be third base too, for some reason lately. But let's move on to the Sunday game. This is Jordan Montgomery versus Garrett Cole in a really good pitching matchup. And Cole only gives up 2 earned runs in 6 innings. And then Jimmy Cordero, who
in his last performance as a New York Yankee this year,
of the year, who'd become a valuable member of the bullpen and has good stuff, but just I don't know, dude. This domestic abuse. I didn't hear what actually happened.
No, and I don't think anything has
Because
gone out there yet.
if you read the suspension, it says domestic abuse and child abuse policy, and that really, if it's an Adrian Peterson situation, it's really gonna make me throw up a little in my mouth, I guess.
Yep. And there's been a lot of social media, saying just release them, just DFA them,
Right.
this kind of stuff. So more to come as far as that goes. But yes, Jimmy Cordero violates that policy, gone for the rest of the year. And
in this game, he gives up, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned. But it really didn't matter because the Yankees only scored 1 run. So Cole gave up 2. So
Yep.
if he held them down, it would be 2-1. And just, I know it was a funky, you had the perfect game and you had the rain out, the doubleheader. It was just a weird couple of days. And Sunday it showed. They just were lethargic, and it was just obvious. I don't know if it was fatigue, West Coast coming back, to the Central, and I don't know what all the circumstances were, but on the field it showed that there's definitely stuff going on. Anything else from you on this Cardinal series or this game in particular, buddy?
Nope. I think you captured it. There's definitely some lethargy that was going on, although the Cardinals seem to be fine and scored 5 runs there, but
right.
But yeah,
but they didn't have the perfect game and all that.
Yeah, a lot of different things going on there with the Yankees.
Sure.
Continuing to navigate who's hurt, who's coming up to pitch what game and all of that. Definitely has been challenging for sure for the Yankees, Mike. And then you go into this big series, Mike, with the Orioles, a team that the Yankees are chasing in the standings,
mm-hmm.
a team that has played very well since very early in the year. And the Yankees need to, go back home, right? And they need a good showing, Mike. And in these first 2 games, so Monday and Tuesday, some really great kind of close games, Yankees making,
fun,
big hits, big plays. And I mentioned the Gleyber Torres, with Stanton, and Torres is on first and Stanton singles up the middle. And it's like a, 8,500 hopper that takes a while to get through. And,
right.
Gleyber was already going because it was a full count. So he's around second. He looks up and Cedric Mullins isn't quite, doing his full sprint, a little bit lollygagging. And, and Gleyber just cruises around third, and Cedric Mullins throws it into second baseman bobbles it. And, Gleyber scores, the go ahead run there, and the Yankees go on to win. So,
and Harrison Bader breaks it open, with a bomb. And,
later on,
Herman starts, and really the B team for a little bit with Ramirez and Hamilton, and then Canely and gets the win, and Holmes gets the save. And a good way to open the series, frankly, against Baltimore. You want to, like you said, this is a big series, and we want to make hay while the sun is shining. So anything else on that one, buddy?
Well, just a little focus on Tommy Canely. And, he's obviously come back from the Tommy John, and it's, taken him a little time, and, he's going to struggle a bit. Mike, 14 games and his ERA is 0.
Yeah.
0.
Is that good?
That's pretty good. 16 strikeouts in 14 games, only allowed 5 hits. Where in the world would the Yankees be without Tommy Canely? Somebody who I know that they were, they knew they eventually would have him, but he literally just about been unhittable, and he's been a huge part.
He's added that little slider that.
Yes, and
that's the changeup.
That was the thing that he said he was going to be working on. And guess what, folks? He seems to have it.
He's worked on it.
Again, the 0, ERA And he gets the win in the Monday game, you know, which is great. And, so that the Yankees win 6-3. So, it's a feel good. Hey, we beat Baltimore, and then they go into the next day and, you kind of wonder a little bit with Clark Schmidt. He's like so many other Yankees. He's been up and down, not totally sure what you're going to get, but Mike, he threw 5 innings. Okay. He gave up 3 runs, but no walks, 7 strikeouts. And the Yankees get, plenty of offense here. They score 8 runs in this game.
Glaber with a double and a homer, and it was really comfortable until your boy Albert Abreu came in and made it a little interesting there in the 9th. But I felt like we were comfortable all game here. But Glaber has another great game with the plate, and then just another brain fart here in this game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll take it. Another person we haven't mentioned during these games that has just been so good, Dave, is Chicky Parm guy and Anthony Volpe. And,
yes.
It really been a big spark for the Yankees offensively and defensively. And since, we make fun of the Austin Hedges secret
Austin Wells
meeting. Yeah, him too. All 3 of them were there. And Volpe actually revealed yesterday that it was his aunt that made the sandwiches. But what?
There's been a lot of questions about it. Eventually, they're going to have to dig down and find out who actually made them.
Or get some Chicky Parms for everybody. Fun, another, like I said, a win, a fun game. And now the Yankees won the first 2 of a 4-game series.
Yep. And, great stuff, 4 games. So Anthony Volpe, Mike, in his last 15 games, 396, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, 12 runs scored. The Yankees, not great, but awesome. 9-6 in those 15 games. There's no way that they would be 9-6 if Volpe isn't hitting almost 400. Right. So great stuff from Volpe, which is nice. Again, he had kind of bottomed out, and the chicken parm was the way to go.
Yeah. And then last night's game against the Orioles was very infuriating to me. I felt like we had plenty of opportunities.
Yes.
And every time the Orioles just bounced back and they end up winning the game 6-3. They get a rookie who gets his first major league hit. I don't know if you caught this or if you caught the game, but so he gets his hit. They roll the ball to the Orioles dugout. Santander picks up the ball with his left hand, but in his right hand, he's cupping a fake, a practice ball. So he picks up the ball and he turns and throws the fake ball into the stands.
Oh, jeez.
They take a shot of this kid's Kaiser's parents, and they're like shocked that Santander did this. And Paul O'Neill and Mike, okay, they've seen this trick 1,000 times, so they're having a good laugh about it. But one of those little baseball fun traditions that make the game so much fun.
Yeah, and what was not fun, Mike, in this game was the Yankees bullpen. You had Randy Vasquez come up and pitch 5 innings, 3 hits,
Boy,
no
does
runs.
He just look like Severino's twin brother?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I saw him warming up, I was like, I don't think Severino was pitching tonight.
Or Bizarro, Bizarro brother.
Yeah. But
Ramirez, King, and Hamilton all get touched up.
Yeah.
And so that's not really great considering, again, no runs, but the Orioles get 4 runs in the 6th and tack on 2 more in the 9th, and take the game 6-3. So now we go.
Game that's going on right now as we record, Dave, becomes huge because the Yankees can take 3 out of 4 and take a step towards the Orioles in second place in the division, or you split the series and it's treading water and a whole lot of effort for really nothing.
And the Rays have lost 4 in a row. So the Yankees are, again, not that you're necessarily shooting for the division title, but opportunity to make up ground on the Rays as well.
Right. especially in early July. It's still plenty of time. Just keep knocking the game. This game is important because of that scenario.
Yep.
But yeah, so it should be fun tonight. Who's pitching tonight, buddy? I forget. Do you know
Severino.
Oh, right. And the Orioles have who? Do you know? I got it.
Urias?
Urias? No, he's hitting. We both looked at the same thing, I bet.
My goodness. Wow, that is bad.
That was ugly. But anyway,
yes.
They're playing
Bradish is pitching tonight.
Okay.
So they are into the top of the second now.
Double bagels, right?
Nope. Henderson hit a home run in the first, a solo shot. So it's 1-0. Top of the second. Orioles already have somebody on first, one out.
Right.
So
tonight, couple of things. Rizzo's sitting, and I really want to take a minute to talk about him because he's very frustrated. He's not hitting well. He's been leading off. They've moved, Boone's moved him around a little, got him a DH day. I'm gonna predict that we're gonna see an IL stint sooner rather than later, probably back soreness.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because it sapped his power. Since he had the neck injury at the end of May with the collision with Fernando Tatis Jr. at first base, homerless since then. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all, Mike, at all. Frankly, Rizzo is DHing tonight.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yes, and he actually has a hit.
Okay, so I saw, getting harassed, and I assumed he was out altogether. But anyway.
But I agree with you. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, very worried about his health. Jake Bauer bouncing all over the outfield last night, gets the night off with a sore shoulder, but McKinney's back in the lineup, so that's a good sign for sure. But the Yankees continue, Dave. The injuries just, I don't know. It's very frustrating. And then when you like Jimmy Cordero, getting suspended, it's just we're doing very well considering every circumstance with the Yankees right now. But tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, right, Carlos Rodon is back.
Yes, Carlos Rodon is making his official major league debut against the Cubs at Yankee Stadium after 3 pretty good minor league rehab starts. Pitch count is good. He's been good. So now let's get into this.
See how good that actually is.
That's good. It looks like, I would think, from what I've read, after the All-Star break, we'll get Nestor Cortez back. Now he hasn't been great this year, but if we can have Cole and Rodon and Nestor Cortez, if we could get those 3 going as starters, that would be really helpful as the Yankees move into the second half of the season. Mike, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but some quick numbers. DJ LeMahieu, and I just pulled last 15 games, 151, 1 homer, 6 RBIs. I almost said Mike Stanton. Oh boy, no. Mike Stanton. Mike Stanley is who I was thinking of.
Well, didn't Giancarlo call himself Mike Stanton when he first came up?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he did when he was with Miami, and then when he hit the 59 homers that season, he was like, by the way, my real name Giancarlo. And we're like, okay.
I did not. There was no plant there. That was just simply coincidence.
So you were really Mike Stanley.
Yeah, I was thinking Mike Stanley. I don't know why.
There's a throwback name.
Folks. Yep. Really great catcher. Had some great moments with the Yankees. Went to the Red Sox. Very, very difficult. He was one of my favorite players. But Giancarlo Stanton in his last 15 games, 170, 1 home run, 7 RBIs, 17 strikeouts. These are, as we've talked, the veteran guys that need to step up. And I wouldn't be surprised if LeMahieu goes on the DL too.
Yeah. we missed Harrison Bader's bat. Remember we talked about that last podcast,
and Bader's been great.
He's been great. So right, the three, Rizzo, LeMahieu, and Stanton, killing us, and everyone else, doing probably a little bit better than what they're expecting, including Donaldson, who after his little powwow with Boone, in the 17-minute whatever behind the doors, has played very well and showed opposite field power last night. Pretty good defense. You're not going with the very well?
No, I have. Because the last time we came on, I said we need to track these 13 games before the All-Star break. So I've been tracking one Josh Donaldson, and he played the 3 games in Oakland, hits in each game, 2 home runs, so looks good. But then he goes to St. Louis and doesn't play in 2 of the 3 games.
Yeah, that's true.
And then played the first game in Baltimore, didn't play, or this series, played the first game, didn't play the second game. And then
played last night 2 for 3 with a home run. So in those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 games, he's hitting .217. He does have 3 home runs. He does have power
6.
Numbers
he does have 6 RBIs.
Right.
But for me, the thing is, they said after that meeting, he's going to play a lot.
No,
he's going to play a lot.
Who standards? Right.
There's 3 games where he didn't play at all.
Right.
So to me, that's not playing a lot. Yeah. I will give the first game of the doubleheader to him because he played the second game of the doubleheader. So that's fine. But he didn't play the next day. Yeah.
So
go ahead,
Mike. Interesting that I'm defending John Donaldson and you're down on him when the closed door meeting happened and Steve Gross and I jumped him on our group text and you were like, come on guys, we're cheerleaders for this team. We should
I know.
And you had a good point for sure.
Yeah.
Can't be negative about everybody all the time. You shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And now here we are having this conversation where you're giving me the negative Donaldson spin, but numbers are what the numbers are. You're not really, you're not burying.
No. I mean, and certainly, you want to say, here's 9 games, he hits 3 home runs. Okay, that's fair. For me, part of it is the average could be better, and the other part is they said he was going to play a lot, and not playing in 3 of those games is not playing a lot. And there's been no injuries, nothing that's been talked about. So that's not necessarily Donaldson's fault, but if the Yankees say he's going to play a lot, then play him a lot.
Let's play him a lot. Did you see his sparkling defensive play last night? And then the rumbling, bumbling, stumbling?
I did not see that.
He's so hard shot right by the third base bag and then spinning towards foul territory, fair ball, but spinning towards foul. And he dives and makes an incredible backhand so deep that he would never make a throw to first, but there was a runner on second coming into third, and so he gets to his feet and tries to scramble to tag. It's Santander again, and just trips over, yard sale, ball goes one way, hats in the stands, one cleats in the dugout, and
so the yard sale is
athletic, out. Amazing play juxtaposed with 1 second later, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. It was very interesting, but saved a run. So either way, it was a good play.
Lots of football references in there, Mike.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm Jonesing for a little football, Dave.
Yeah, well, we are getting close. It is July 6th. Camps will be opening up shortly.
In the old days, you'd start getting the magazines, the fantasy football magazines, the preseason roster changes, all that stuff.
Oh, yes. Who's on the cover?
The beach or
who's the big thing?
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Now pour through all of the changes and everything else. Now
highlighters, multicolored markers. It's a whole show. Yep. Anyway, so the Yankees, needing to win tonight, Dave. I'll just put it bluntly. This is one of the games of the year. You usually have a handful or maybe more that are a little more important than, the rest of the regular season games. And this is one of them, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens. And then 3 more games to finish off the quote unquote first half of the season against the Cubs, who are scrappy. It'll be interesting to see them on the field. I certainly have been following them, but haven't seen any eyeballs on them yet. So that'll be good.
No,
Anything
I haven't either.
Like?
No, I'm watching this, game that they need to. And all right. So they finally, Severino has thrown 56 pitches through 2 innings.
Okay.
He's only given up the 1 run, but just had a 12 pitch at bat with Adley Rushman and got him out. But 56 pitches through 2 innings, Mike. I mean, he's not going to last. 4 hits, a run, and a walk. So we'll see. We'd like to see, will the real Luis Severino please stand up? Please stand up. We have not seen that. Yeah, it was bad, but we have not seen that, Mike. And that's unfortunate. So
speaking of unfortunate, let's talk about some all-star roster snubs, Dave.
Yes.
Real quick. I'll start with the American League, and for me, the number 1 snub, and I hate to say it, Wander Franco from the Rays.
But he made it.
Did he?
Yes, he got named as an injury replacement for Judge. So take that for what it's worth. I get that you gotta
knew that, and it was kind of, you just gonna wait a minute and then we'll announce you, or because they knew Judge wasn't playing, right?
Yeah,
like he didn't make the original reserves. Franco.
Yeah, no, he did not. No. So it's interesting, clearly.
What about Matt Chapman for the Blue Jays?
Oh yeah, and Matt Chapman is another one. I know my oldest son Brady was like, how does Matt Chapman not make the roster? He's had a great year.
He's got 27 doubles already on the season.
Yeah, and it's very, very interesting because the let's see, 1, 2.
So the Rays have 4 players, and he's not one of them. Interesting.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 American League players that are, inactive, hurt, whatever. And the National League only has 1. I don't know. It just seems interesting.
It'll change too in the next couple of days. You'll see people get dinged up, or somebody, was just tired or whatever, and the manager asks them to sit out. So we'll see.
Well, right, but, example number 1, Shohei Ohtani, who probably won't pitch, made it as a pitcher.
No, they said today he won't pitch because he's got a blister.
Right, he's got a blister on the one of the fingers on his right hand, which is also the same finger where he had the broken nail, the broken fingernail. So, bound to put somebody else, on the roster to replace him. I just think it's interesting, Mike, though, that the American League has way more injuries.
Yeah, that is interesting. So what about the National League snubs, unless you have another American League deal?
Nope. You can go ahead with the National League.
Did Tatis get named as a replacement or no?
No, Tatis.
He's my number 1.
Has
snub
not
as
been
much. Yeah.
Named.
I mean, he's got 16 home runs, 41 RBIs, 867 OPS, and a 3 WAR. I know the outfield in the National League's crowded for sure, but I don't know. It seems like he should be there. He's certainly a draw, and he's exciting, and he's having very good year. So
yeah, I mean, you look at, do you make the argument against Castellanos in the outfield?
I could probably.
He's the lone Phillies representative.
Right.
So that's probably one of the reasons why he made it.
Sure.
As far as that goes, but I think that's a
you
spot where you could
point inadvertently, probably.
Yep.
You can't say these guys are snubbed without talking about who you're taking off. So
Yep.
That's a very good point by
Yep.
you.
Yep.
And then the only other player I wanted to mention real quick, because they never get any love, is the Pirates closer, David Bednar. 16 saves, a 1.44 ERA, a 1.54.
And he got added. He's the one injury replacement. Yes. So Clayton Kershaw shows up lame. So Bednar did make it. Good for him. Mitch Keller was the other Pirate that made it. And obviously we talked with Jared a few weeks ago, knowing that both of those guys have had really good years. So kudos to both of them for making the All-Star team. Well deserving for sure.
Let's run through the home run derby brackets real quick, and then we'll get into our power rankings and get out of here.
Yes.
So you want to run through it, or you want me to, buddy?
I can do it. It's a really, really good, Mike and I were talking.
Very representative bracket this year.
Yes.
Especially with Judge and Alonso hurt,
No, Alonso is
back, right? But he's been hurt a lot of the season.
Oh, yes.
I didn't know if he was going to play.
Yep.
But he loves this derby, as you know.
Yep. Two-time champ. And this Luis Robert Jr. He's the number one seed, if you will. If you don't know, and I read this, and this was the first time that I had read this to know it, that they basically look at the home run totals as of July 1st. And that's how they determine who the seeds are. And so, Luis Robert Jr.'s got, I think I read 25 home runs.
25, yeah.
So he is number one against number 8, which is Adley Rutschman from the Orioles. So that'll be, it's just great. All 4 matchups. Pete Alonso is the 2 against hometown favorites, Julio Rodriguez. And remember, he lost in the finals last year to Juan Soto, and everybody said, "Oh, look at him, he's going to be great." Or he's to have the All-Star game in Seattle next year. Watch him hit like 2 home runs and be
right. The hometown guy. They're so busy posting and all these stuff.
So who knows? But it's still, that's a great matchup. The 3-6,
and he's young and going to bring it like full steam ahead, So was Alonso. So that an intensity matchup I'm really looking to there.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. No, you're fine. The 3-6 is Mookie Betts, on pace for 40 home runs this year, and Vlad Guerrero Jr., who has the record in 2019 for the most home runs total, 91. In his previous one.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. not having a good season offensively. He has 13 homers, but really not.
Yeah. He's.
I expected him to take another leap. He's still at least down 1 rung in my mind from the top hitters in the league, probably 2. I thought he would grow this season into a more all-around hitter. So nope, agreed. And then the 4 or 5 day players, I always mix up for each other. Adolis Garcia and Randy Arozarena.
Yeah,
they've never been on the same team. I don't know why. I just have a blunt brain lock on those guys.
Well, and it's interesting. They're both from Cuba, so that's going to be an interesting battle. As far as that goes, but yes, just some great. It even happens, in the NBA as well with the dunk contest and the 3-point shooting contest. And you always go, geez, I wish that guy was there. I wish that guy was there. Outside of injuries, Mike, this might be one of the best top 8 as far as the home run hitting contests that I can remember.
I'd like to see the 2 Angels, Trout and Ohtani.
Who are both hurt.
Right. And Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, he was there last year.
Yeah. But you're right. I can't think of, you have your big boppers like Soler and Marte, but, great point though. Overall, this is a very good matchup.
Yep, very balanced.
Should be fun to watch.
Should be fun.
And they streamlined. Remember last year they streamlined the whole thing, so it's not going to be a 4-hour.
Right, it doesn't go until midnight, and people on the East Coast are got toothpicks in their eyes trying to watch. But yeah, so 8:00 Monday night, home run derby should be exciting, and then the All-Star game on Tuesday, again in Seattle, should be a lot of fun.
They're going to put on a great show. Beautiful stadium. I love the camera angles they have. That they use drone, and it really should be good. Dave, a nation awaits our power rankings. We're messing around. We're like 45 minutes in.
Yep.
Let's get our power ranking.
The nation awaits. Yes.
The nation awaits with bated breath.
With bated breath. So we get into it. Mike, it's interesting. Some of these teams, there's some teams that are really starting to play well. I know earlier in the year, we talked about how it was difficult beyond like the top 4 or 5 to really figure some things out. Now I think it's hard because there's a lot of teams that are playing well.
Right.
And so for me, Mike, at number 10, sadly, I have our New York Yankees, 48-39, the plus 36 run differential. And they have had some good moments, obviously, as we talked about, but I think there are 9 other teams playing better than the Yankees.
Me too, because I also have our Yankees at 10, and the number that really dropped them below some of the others for me is our home record, 13-16 at home. Just can't be the East. I'm sorry, against the East.
Yes, against the East.
13-16 against the American East. You got to win against your division. So
and with the balanced schedule and less games this year, that could play a huge factor. And I mean, honestly, it is playing a huge factor right now when you think about how they did not play well against Tampa early in the year.
And we spent a lot of time saying the Yankees are playing well for their injury situation, but still they're third place in their division, less than 10 games over 500. We got to be honest. Number 9 for me.
Just for fun, Mike, I'll do this very, very quickly. I just was like, where were the Yankees at this point last year? 59-23.
Oh, really?
They had a 14-game lead in the division. They had scored 421 runs and only given up 246. I mean, when you think about the first half of the Yankees last year was as dominating as any we've seen from the Yankees in quite some time. 59-23 on this date last year.
Not too shabby.
No. So number 9 for you?
Cincinnati Reds. We traveled up quickly and coming back down quickly. Their starting rotation has been a shambles with injury lately. Except for this kid, Andrew Abbott, that they brought up.
Yes, he's been great.
He's got 6 starts with a 1.21 ERA, a .88 WHIP, 42 strikeouts, and 37 in third innings. So, another bright spot. You've seen this rookie, Eloy De La Cruz for the Reds?
I haven't seen enough of him, but he's having a great start to his career.
So the other night they're playing the Nationals.
Yes. What about
first
this?
Inning, rips a double or whatever. Then they check his bat. The Nationals ask for his bat to be inspected. They're thinking just something wrong with it. I don't know if it was tape or pine tar or whatever they thought was wrong. And it turned out it was fine. The ump said it was fine. And then so his next at bat, he hits just a bomb. And he turns to the Nationals dugout and says, check it again. So I love that kind of pettiness. I guess if it happened against the Yankees, I wouldn't love it. But
no, probably not. But a little gamesmanship there by Dave Martinez, the manager of the Washington Nationals.
But Reds 48-39. They're scrappy, but probably, if I had to make a guess, we won't see a lot of them the rest of the year, but who knows?
Who knows?
What do you got at 9?
At 9, I have the LA Dodgers. 48 and 39 plus 61. They're such an interesting team because they were kind of ho-hum for a while and then had that great stretch and were in first place. And now they're kind of falling back to the pack a little bit. But still, plus 61 run differential. They're still doing it. Dustin May now is gone for the rest of the year and Kershaw is hurt. And
Dustin May can't get his career off the ground.
No, he can't. So, we'll have to see. I think, the Dodgers, I feel like they're in a similar boat with the Yankees, just that same kind of, you expect them to be playing a little bit better and they're not.
I have them at 8. So for all the reasons you just said,
okay. You have the Dodgers at
nothing
8.
to add. So what do you?
And I have the Reds at 8 with also nothing to add. Although I will add this big series. So the Reds have a 2-game lead as of this moment on the Brewers and have a big series this weekend in Milwaukee. So let's see what the Reds can do in a big spot, with a lead on the road. Let's see how the young Bucks respond, if you will.
Last few games before the All-Star break strong, hold that lead and, be talked about for a week as a surprise team in the Central and go from there. Number 7 for me, speaking of surprise teams, the Miami Marlins, Dave. 51 and 37. Granted, they're still 8 games back of the Braves, but still, interestingly, a -7 run differential. Which
a lot of close games for the Marlins.
Winning close games. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Just generally playing very good, solid baseball.
Yep, for sure. I have the Houston Astros at 7. They're playing well, 49 and 38. The plus 63 run differential, 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 4 in a row.
And the monster Yordan Alvarez is starting to take rehab swings and will be back after the break. So
yep. So they're kind of waiting with bated breath, if you will, as far as that goes.
You have them at 6?
I have the Astros at 7.
7. Okay.
At 6, I have the aforementioned Miami Marlins.
Okay.
I have all the reasons you said.
Which wasn't very many other than they're a very good team. I have the Orioles at 6.
Orioles at 6.
Actually, for the last month, they're just 16 and 16 since May 25th, actually. But they're still, 50 and 35 in second place. And, frankly, like we've beat to death now, this game tonight's a huge factor going forward for the power rankings. But fun young team. I like Brandon Hyde as a manager, and they're going to make some. They're going to be heard from, I think, the rest of the season, certainly in a wild card.
Yep, I wasn't crazy because it was against the Yankees, but I thought it was the right decision. Last night he brought Bautista in for the 4-out save. That made sense.
He recognized they needed that win to
and I thought that was big. We've talked about with Boone this year a couple of moves where he hasn't. I was thinking, okay, now's the time, and sure enough. And I will say this, I thought, if Stanton's in a groove, I think he hits that pitch for a home run because it was up and out over the plate, but Stanton he's not there. We talked about his numbers. And it just was kind of a harmless, fly ball to left center field. And he's just behind on it because he's just not there.
He's just off. Yeah.
Yep. But good move by Brandon Hyde. Mike, I have the Orioles at 5 for all the,
and I have the Astros. So,
and you have the Astros at 5.
So we're on the same path, a little bit different, but
yes.
What are you going to do?
Baltimore goes to Minnesota for a series this weekend. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, Mike, top 4. Who do you have at 4?
David, the Arizona Diamondbacks. 50 and
Yes.
37. Now, not thrilled that Corbin Carroll's injured. He hasn't gone on the IL yet. Hopefully he doesn't, but he's off to a tremendous start. The Arizona Diamondbacks on the road this year, Dave, 26 and 15, 11 games over 500. And that's the difference in the season for them.
Yep. Really? Yep. I also have Arizona at 4, Mike, for all of the same reasons. And we'll see. They have a series at home this weekend with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So
interesting.
We'll see how that goes. Number 3, Mike, the Texas Rangers, 51 and 36. Just continuing to have a very, very good season. That plus 157 run differential continues to be the best in baseball. Struggling a little bit, lost some games to Boston here, but
they've actually lost 6 of their last 9, Dave.
Yeah. So
to be frank, and I think I have them 3 as well. And I think this is a line of demarcation. The top 2 teams are so much better than the rest that it really makes a big divide right here between 3 and 2. And I at 2 have the Tampa Rays.
Yep, as do I.
They just continue to play well. They're not obviously on the torrid pace they were to start the season. There was going to be some regression to the mean, but 57 and 32 continues to just be dominant. Run differential plus 151. Good records, good splits everywhere. They lost their last 4, however.
Yep. So. And we'll see. I know McClanahan got hurt. We'll see what happens as far as his injury goes. He's been their best pitcher all year. And I have Tampa at 2 and Atlanta at 1, Mike, and a huge series this weekend with Atlanta going to Tampa Bay. So we will see for sure how these teams pan out.
Are awesome. 58 and 28. The run differential of plus 147. 28 and 13 on the road. 30 and 15 at home. That's just handling your business. 8 and 1 against the East or the Central. 22 and 6 against their division. So that's just how
the
you
way to
go.
Up, and they won 9 in a row and then lost and won again. So they've had a couple of really good streaks, and they have 674 have now surpassed the Rays for best record in all of baseball.
Ronald Acuna splits here.
Oh yeah, please. So this is just tremendous.
43 walks, 41 stolen bases, and 48 strikeouts. So he's on pace for just a tremendous on-base percentage. And then the stolen bases are great. And that's not even getting into his hitting numbers. Do you have those there? Or
that's what I was going to look for, because he has these numbers that he has are just crazy, to the point where, and I'm trying to think, he is the first person to have, I thought I would have it here. I don't have it right in front of me, but he has some tremendous stats where he's just the first to have, I think it's 20 home runs and 50 RBIs and steals.
He's got a 54 current home run or RBI.
Yes.
Let's see. Regular season. Why wouldn't they give me his home runs?
Yeah, I'm having troubles finding it here too. I should have pulled that because it is a first time.
But he's hitting 337, 21 homers, 54 RBIs, and 1008 OPS, making him second in the league in OPS, tied for 20th in RBIs, 10th in homers, and second average. I mean, just really an all-around player. What do you think the over-under should be for home runs and stolen bases for him? So he's at 21 homers and 43 stolen bases. 41 stolen bases. 21 and 41. So is he going to end the season
30, 35, 75? 35 home runs, 75 stolen bases?
I was going to say 40 and 80.
And so I think if you put it at 35 and 75, I think those are tempting numbers to,
wow,
to go over or just under. I mean, I don't think we have anything out there that tells us that the stolen bases are going to slow down. So maybe you take the over on the stolen bases and,
So it'll be interesting as the season progresses, folks. We'll keep an eye on where this season for him compares to all-time greats, because the 40-40 club is one thing, but the 40-80 club, I think might be some rarefied air. If I'm not mistaken, I could think of a few players that could even get close. So we'll do a deep dive on Acuna later, but I think we're good, Dave. Lots to cover. Been through a lot, but it's been a minute since we've been on with the Yankees. So we'll watch them through the rest of this first half of the season. Of course, the All-Star break. We'll probably won't come back until after the All-Star break, if I had to guess. Maybe we'll do something
after. Yeah,
we'll see. But in the meantime, here at Think Tank Sports, we're having a good time. We're not on Stitcher because nobody's on Stitcher anymore. All these streaming platforms are going to cannibalize each other. And we'll be down to podcasts for Spotify and iTunes, and probably maybe one.
We're on a bunch of them, but
we're
Stitcher,
on them all now.
Yeah, Stitcher gone.
Interact with us, please, on Twitter, on Instagram. Oh no, we're not. Yeah, we are on the IG. We're not on
the IG. Yep.
Yeah. Facebook, all those places. We love to hear from you, our tens of fans. When you interact, we feel better about ourselves, and that's really what we're doing. So please pat us on the back, affirm us. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Dave, for another great podcast here at Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen as we strive for 5. Deuces.
See you, everybody.